Good morning and welcome to the Women in Leadership Body, Mind, Soul, and Business podcast. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Heather. And together we are working to connect women in leadership and business to build relationships and empower each other, improving our health and wellness of the community, body, mind, and soul, sharing the heart and soul of who we are and what we do.
Today's guest is a soul-led leadership coach who helps new and emerging leaders bridge the inner and outer connection with self to cultivate the skills and confidence that support their inner leader. She is an amazing person, beautiful from the inside out, and ready to help you take on those dreams and make them a reality. Welcome back to the table, Leslie Rochelle.
Thank you very much. It's so nice to be back here with the two of you having another lovely conversation. Thank you for asking me back. It's really great.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it's all part of that building that community, building those relationships. Having guests back again and again to continue the conversation, right? Because it's not over. And for our listeners also, that conversation's not over. If you have questions or comments, let us know. Yeah,
Everyone's welcome at this table.
Yeah, if you're looking for a connection in business in some way, let us know. We might know somebody for you. Yeah. So today, Leslie is going to tell us all about this wonderful book that she has written that is now available it's now available for purchase. So Leslie, go ahead, tell us about your wonderful book.
Certainly. So this was a story that I was honestly never going to tell until I was inspired to tell it. So the name of the book is called, I've got it right here, Silent Grief, Healing, and Hope. And it is an anthology of, so there's 15 of us who got together and wrote this book. And it's 15 inspirational stories of infertility, miscarriage, and child loss. And it was such an amazing experience to be, to collaborate amongst these amazing women.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, when I said that I was inspired to, because I never was going to tell the story, because there was a lot of shame associated with the loss and blame and all those other things. And I really felt kind of alone throughout that process. But once you start talking about it, you realize, oh, there's other people that have actually been through it. The whole experience from writing, the cathartic process of that and being able to share the story ended up becoming an international bestseller, which was something that we were shocked with. It just means that it's a story that are at a topic that people do really need to talk about, read about.
Absolutely. It needs to not be needs to have that shame piece taken away. And definitely it is such a lonely process because sometimes there's not a physical representation of closing of the process. So it's almost an invisible thing that happened. And some people can't see that or understand that. And so this is such a great opportunity for someone who doesn't understand to go through the journey, but also for everyone that's gone through it to realize they weren't alone.
I myself have lost a child, and I know what that feels like, and I know that that's different for everybody. My little sister also lost a child, and her experience was completely different than mine. And so everybody's experience is their own, and a way to work through and heal that is to talk with other people about it. And so I think that's really great what you're doing with your book. That's just amazing. And you guys have to realize that 1 in 3 women have experienced child loss or infertility issues, or something really along those lines, which is, that's a huge number. Look at your friends. Okay, how many friends do you have? 1 in 3 of them have experienced loss.
And if you're not even close, you may not even know that they did it.
Yeah.
Because it can be silent and lonely, and you think you have to go through it alone.
Yeah. It was in previous generations, it wasn't talked about at all. And now we're starting to talk about it and heal from that pain and that trauma that we've been through as women with, child loss and infertility. So, Leslie?
Yeah, it's even the medical community. Like when it happened for me, I went to go see my doctor and I was handed a piece of paper and saying, "Here's your 2 options." Okay, like it was, yeah, it's like no big deal, right? Like, and it was like horrible to have to go through. And then there was, I ended up going through several, ultrasounds to figure, okay, has everything passed? And it hadn't. And I ended up going in like hemorrhaging. So I ended up having to go in and, it took, sorry for the graphic details, but that is what it was.
It is.
And I ended up, in the emergency room, soaking really, and they had to stop the bleeding, and then the next day I went in for a D&C. So it wasn't like it was just done, right? It was a process that happened, unfortunately, over Christmas, right, in 2016. So there's times where you still think about it, but having the opportunity to be able to share the story, to let other people know that they're not alone, is important, that we can talk about it and that we don't have the shame associated with it. I'm a very firm believer in, if this is meant to be, this shall be, right? And if it's not, what am I learning from this process? What can I take away that can help another person, right? This is one of the events in my life that it doesn't define me. It has something that happened, and it's something that I experienced, but it doesn't define me as a person either. And so that's one thing that I'd really like for people to take away is, it is an experience, but doesn't represent you as a person.
Exactly.
I love that.
And you said that this loss of a child happened to you in 2016, and you still think about it every day. And that the pain changes over time. It begins to not hurt so much later. It's still painful. It's not sharp.
Yeah, it becomes.
I lost my child back in 2006, and I still think about him every single day. Every day. My little sister lost her daughter in 2007, and she still thinks about her every single day. And next week is actually the anniversary of her passing. So I hope she's listening to this, because your story. Yeah.
And do celebrate it. Like,
yeah.
There is, and these are my beliefs here, but there is a lesson and a blessing in everything. So she came here to teach you something about you. She came here to teach you how resilient and amazing that you are, right? Or he, right? In your case, right? So we do need to take a look at it as saying, okay, how can I grow from this, right? How do I not get stuck somewhere? And being in that place, I mean, when it's fresh and new, be there for as long as you need to be, but do try and, pick yourself up and just do one normal thing, every single day until you get to a place where you can feel the joy again, right? Where you can laugh. And it doesn't mean that you don't have any feelings associated with it. Just means that you've chosen to continue on with your life because everyone else around you deserves that. So do you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a very important thing to point out, that just because these feelings exist doesn't mean you can't mutually feel joy. Like, it doesn't negate how you feel about the situation, what happened, the process, your sadness. Feeling joy again doesn't take that away. It's a, you can, they're not mutually exclusive.
Right.
Yeah, because if you mute or silence your feelings, that means you silence all of them. You don't get to choose which ones you no longer feel. If you decide I don't want to feel lost, means you can't feel love either, right? So feeling your feelings is okay. Get mad, get angry, and that's okay. It helps you to release some of the emotions that you're feeling at that point in time, but you owe it to yourself, and like I said, those around you, to love, right? And not blame yourself. If it was meant to be, it was supposed to be. If that really goes to the everything happens for a reason. And also, I'm probably triggering some people right now, and some people completely hate that. But we get a choice with everything. I mean, our souls came to here, right, to be able to experience the duality of good and bad, happy and sad, love and hate, in order to expand that consciousness that we have. And this was part of your story, and it's okay that it's there, but embrace it and say, how can I make this into a positive? How can I make this into something that I can help somebody else with? And that's why I wrote it in the first place. And it was, like I say, it was such an incredible experience throughout the entire process, right? Yeah.
Wow. I always like to say life happens for us, not to us.
That's right.
So I like to look at, what am I not knowing, in every situation that's horrible and hard, like there's reasons, or some, like you were saying, that you can learn, or someone who can help because you've gone through this. There's things that happen.
And it's those struggles that we've been through that kind of push us into that personal growth path, right? Because we would not be who we are today if we didn't go through that stuff we went through in the past.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
So
no regrets.
No, exactly. No regrets, because I would be a different person if I didn't go through those things.
Oh yeah.
If I didn't go through that hardship, if I didn't, go through that tragic loss, right? I wouldn't have the empathy for other people who have experienced the same thing, and the fact that I was able to walk side by side with my sister when she lost her baby a year and a half after I lost mine was incredible. And we used to fight like cats, right? Me and my sister, we used to fight like cats. She's 7 years younger than me. And, through the experience that we went through, we have become really close. And I love that, because I don't think we would have the relationship we have today. And I would definitely not be the same person I am if I didn't go through that stuff. Okay.
You were sitting here right now having this conversation with the three of us because that happened.
Right.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Like, you were exactly where you're supposed to be, and knowing that that is the truth, right? Where we are right now is based off of the choices, the decisions, the experiences that we have had. It also gives us that reason, and perhaps the catalyst to move into something greater than we are currently in right now. And welcome to the growth mindset versus that fixed mindset. piece, and taking those experiences. Okay, how can I learn from this? And, how can I move forward in my life going
Mhm.
after, what I'm here to do? What is my purpose?
Mhm.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, how can we get a copy of your book?
There's a few different ways. So my virtual assistant, amazing, she is putting it on my site, and it will be available February 8th or 9th for the digital copy. And there is also an opportunity for those people within North America, because shipping elsewhere is hard. So I do actually have some signed copies available through my website as well. And if those options don't work for you, then there's always Amazon, that you can pick it up on Amazon as well.
Right. And this, as far as reading material goes, it's fairly inexpensive, right?
Yes.
I've paid way more for books. So, for example, how much is it going for on Amazon?
I think it's about $20 on Amazon. And and let's see, I'm Canadian. So I do charge in Canadian. So if you're American, it's way less for you. Exchange rate's terrible. But so it's $4.99 for the digital copy, which is that PDF version, Canadian. And then I'm doing $25 shipping included. And assign it, I'll dedicate it to somebody if you'd like as well. And so it is available for like $25.
Shipping included.
Isn't that
That's
that is an
beautiful.
incredible value. And I'm definitely gonna look it up, because I might have to get a couple of copies. So anyway, are we ready for our meditation?
Yeah, I think we are.
Okay.
Definitely.
So if you are driving and would like to pull over for the meditation, please do so. If you are driving and are not going to pull over for the meditation, please do not close your eyes. Okay. Take a couple of deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Today we are on day 26 of Meditations from the Mat by Rolf Gates and Katrina Kinnison. The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. Marcel Proust. We do not know what we do not know. Whenever I sit down to meditate or spend time on my mat, I am suddenly made conscious of the level of distraction in which I spend much of my time. I am writing these words the night before I am to fly to Mexico to teach a week-long yoga retreat. To prepare myself, I've spent most of the day at a meditation center. There, as the quiet of prolonged meditation began to sink in, I slowly became aware of where I was coming from. In the course of the last week, I've presided at my studio while we've been hosting a visiting teacher, undergoing major renovations, and introducing 4 new teachers into our schedule. All this while Boston was being pummeled by a 3-day blizzard. I've also been making time to write each day, getting ready for the retreat, managing an unmanageable private class schedule, creating a new workshop format, teaching my regular classes, spending time with my wife and my dog, and doing my own yoga practice. I did not experience this week as anything out of the ordinary, because it is not. As I interacted with the visiting teacher, my new teachers, my students, the contractors, my wife, and my dog, I had no awareness of how much stress I was under, or of my responsibility for allowing that stress to be clouding my judgment. Finally, today, the utter stillness I found at the meditation center allowed me to arrive at an awareness that was not available to me all week as I rushed from one situation to the next. True, I was attending to my regular practice, but sometimes even that is not enough. There is power in regularly stepping back even further, going even deeper than we normally do. As we wade through the challenges, the opportunities, the joys, and the sorrows of our everyday lives, we must also honor our need to look upon our lives with new eyes. And the opportunity is always there. One morning spent in silence, an evening at a yoga workshop, an hour of quiet prayer in an empty church, an afternoon of meditation, or a weekend retreat. And we rediscover, re-experience the truth of our lives and the roles we want to play in them.
We talk a lot about taking that rest.
Mhm.
And I think that this week we've been talking about imagination and how we can use that. And you can see for yourself that you have like a good routine and you're like, but I've imagined that this is doing good for me and still need to take that step back. I like that was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things we've been doing, because we've been recovering from being sick, right, is we've been checking in with each other. Are you getting enough rest? Do you need to take the rest of the afternoon off and just mentally defrag yourself? Because, the first half of the week or so, or most of last week, it was like we were trying to play catch up on paperwork that we didn't get done when we were sick because we had so many spoons of energy to use and they were used. And so it's been really, really important for us to take a step back, take a breath. We've spent some time, 20 minutes or so in meditation a couple times this week. It's been really, really good. And we've really been able to look at things with a new perspective, when we've been stuck. Yeah. Leslie?
The power of the pause. I was going to say pose, but that's the French pronunciation of it. The power of the pause is incredibly important. And it's really taking a step back and saying, one of the exercises that I like to do first thing in the morning, I'm just kind of coming to, and I ask myself, what does Leslie need today? And I specifically use the word need, not the word desire, but in this case, what does Leslie need today? How do I choose to engage in life today? Because that can really help you to move forward and in a different energy. Earlier this week, I was, I have a full-time job, supporting, a multi-billion-dollar company. And I also have my business and I have a family and I have all of these other things. And I realized how I had scheduled myself is I have 2 days off a month. I said, oh, I can't do that. Right. So that it was a matter of, okay, let's take a look at my schedule again and just ensure that I am giving as much to myself as I give to other people to keep that equilibrium so we don't end up in that space of depletion.
Right, because you can't pour from an empty cup.
Love the way you said that, because you're incredibly caring and giving person, and it's okay to give that to yourself and show up in that same energy for you. I love
it's
that.
a must. It's a must. It's a must. Yeah. And this is one thing that I help within my coaching as well is really for people to understand who they are from that soul level. And it's, I bring spirituality into leadership training, which is very different. But it's incredibly important because not everybody is going to lead a team or a company or an organization, but we're always leading ourselves. So the better we are able to understand who we are, what it is that we need, want, and desire, it really helps us to move forward in a different type of energy.
I must have written like, what do I want? I wrote it like on paper for like 6 months before I could really answer that question. Like I had to keep asking myself that question like through my process, like to just even get into knowing myself like enough to answer that question. I could tell you what my son wants, what everyone around me wants, but what about me? Like, you
That's
know.
right. That's right. And we are our own foundation. So this is something that you definitely, because when we understand ourselves and when we take on that healing journey, and that is personal growth, right?
Mhm.
It forces all those other people around us to change as well and to grow, because we no longer accept certain things in our life. So then they have to approach us differently in that case as well. So when we have the opportunity and we get to heal, so does everybody else around us. Whether that's your family, your partner, your team, whoever you work with, it's the same. Right?
I love it. That just goes right into what I wanted to talk about.
Oh,
So a part of my journey has been losing 173 pounds, and part of that process is really learning and giving your body like room to rest and grow and stuff. And today we were talking about intermittent fasting, and I thought it was interesting because it was a good reminder that you know, because we talk about taking those rests and stuff, and that your body is designed to function where you're resting, right? Like way back, we wouldn't have all of our food, you know, readily available for us. We would have to work for it and things, you know. So our bodies developed, you know, a process of we eat, you know, during these hours of the day, and that's what intermittent fasting is you eat only during a 5 to 8 hour period, depending on how you want to fast, and then you try not to eat, you know, very many calories at all. I think it's under 50 calories then in the meantime. Like, so it's like, you know, if you do it like, you know, so you have either breakfast and lunch and dinner, and then, you know, the rest of the time you're fasting. And this was something that I didn't know about, like, and I had to learn. And I was really impressed with the process of healing your gut and letting everything rest and really process, so that when you're sleeping, then you're in the next stage of cleaning things out, and you're like giving your body a chance to do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, and also think about a lot of religions around the world do fasting as part of their ritualistic festivals, right?
Right.
So, and that's all, it's all part of that cleansing, right? That self-cleansing. So, and it's been happening for thousands of years.
And that's why it's built into the religion, because it's good for your body, mind, and soul. Like, it's just good for you. So if you want to learn more about that, I'm happy to get you over to the group where we're chatting about that today. I'm totally down to get you over there. I love that group.
And we're also doing a hydration challenge this week. So
it's been so good.
Drink your water. Yeah. I got my big water bottle here.
Yeah, always like having it close at hand, right?
Right. You know, if it's easier for you to drink water with a straw, which for most people I hear it is, you know, get yourself a nice water bottle with a straw or whatever.
Having a pretty cup, we were talking about that yesterday, having show off your pretty cup, because like the cup is pretty, then you want to have it in your hand, you know, right? And it's bringing you joy, so you're creating more joy while you're giving yourself water.
Right. And I have a really nice sparkly cup I like to use. It's great for in the car. This water bottle not so much. It doesn't fit in my cup holder, but you know, it's great. So I love that we're doing that nutrition challenge this week. What's the quote?
The hydration, yes. So our quote of the week is: sit and revere and watch the changing color of the waves that break upon the idle shore of the mind. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Sit and revere and watch the changing color of the waves that break upon the idle seashore of the mind.
That please. So February is a really important month this year. It is probably the most important month of the year. Yes, it is the month of love. However, it is also a month of shedding those things that no longer serve us. It's not that deep healing that you really need to do, but really is to take the pause, do some reflection, what no longer serves me and my purpose, and then let that go. Not to say it's not going to be hard. Hopefully it's not that hard, but it can be when you're actually changing, you're changing your lifestyle. You're doing the hydration challenge. You're doing your intermittent fasting. It all plays a part. So
Right. And creating new habits does take time. So
yes.
creating
I
new
always like to
positive habit today.
sandwich with another habit that I already have. Right. So when I go to make the coffee in the morning, I'm having an extra glass of water, right? Like that was kind of the idea this
Have
week.
a cup of coffee before, or
having water before I have
your
the coffee. Like, and and then that's really good for your body. It wakes up your organs and it has there's all sorts of good reasons of why, but just like having that, like I'm going to make a commitment to when I make the pour the water in the coffee pot, instead I'm going to also pour some water into me, just like sandwiching some habits in with something you're already doing, so it's not coming out of left field.
Right, exactly. We have some really fun, exciting upcoming events for you guys. Mindset Mondays around lunchtime Pacific, so about 11:30, 12 o'clock Pacific. We will be back for Mindset Mondays. And then next Tuesday, we're going to talk chronic illness in the workplace with our producer B. On Wednesday, we have Devin coming to chat with us. She's amazing. You guys are going to love her. And then on Friday, we plan on being on location at a huge production downtown Arlington, using their podcast equipment, cameras, and all that stuff. They're going to show us some little behind the scenes.
It's very exciting.
I'm super excited.
We're excited.
Like we get to learn how to up level our stuff from the pros while doing the podcast. How cool is that? So
field trip.
Exactly, and a field trip. We love it. So we would love it if you guys would leave us a review. How is our podcast impacting you? And you could leave that right here in a message on Facebook. You could tag us. I could go to Podchaser and write a review on there. There's little places to find us everywhere, but that's
wherever, however you found us, go ahead and leave us a review, right? We'd love that. Our cause of the quarter this quarter is Now Networking. Now Networking helps women overcome adversity. They mentor and support them through high school and college and into career fields. Just really linking arms with women who've, young women who've had a tough time, and helping them move forward with their lives, with a lot of the same concepts and tools that we talk about right here. So we're really excited to be supporting them. If you would like to donate to them, please do, or buy a ticket to the gala March 31st here locally in Marysville. We'd love to see you there.
Thank you, Leslie, so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you.
Thank you very much. It's great once again to have a lovely conversation with you.
Always. Thank you, listeners. We are looking forward to continuing to connect and build a bigger table and more relationships with more community leaders. So come join us at our table.
You are a woman in leadership, and we're looking forward to having you join us. Namaste.
Namaste.